Indeed. 701.
Just 30 seconds left of Garth. We'll let him finish. It's the first number we've picked that I've not read yet.
Did you read it?
I did not.
That's like showing up to church without having read the
The
Sunday
reason
school.
I didn't read it because I know who 80 is. And
How do you know?
It's pretty easy. There's nobody. If Jerry Rice at 80, I'm like you with
Number 7.
yes.
Well, prepare to be surprised.
I have a hard time thinking that Jerry Rice at 80.
Don't look then. If you're so sure, don't look. Just wait.
I will. I'm for that. Hideki, we're live. Good morning and welcome to the Hodge Pack. As you hear the birds chirping and Hideki Matsuyama driving it down the fairway of the 105th PJ Championship, we're glad that you're with us. This is the Hodge Pack on 106.9 The Country Giant. Brought to you by Lidl Land and Cattle. We're rocking and rolling. Hope everybody's having a great day. We are rolling, lots to cover. We are hanging out in the Potosi Live studio. Josh, Hodge, Misty will be on their way, and tons to cover this morning. Josh, a little rainy,
Yeah, I like it.
It's a good morning. It's actually not. It's probably a little warmer here, but up in New York where the PGA Championship is happening. We'll talk about that in a moment. Yesterday had a frost delay. It's actually 60 degrees there, and not raining. And so we're glad that you're with us this morning. Lots to cover. Our Big Country Electric My Town segment will be at the bottom of this hour, and it's very fitting. One of the amazing offices that Big Country Electric Cooperative has is in Roby, and we'll have joining us on our Pest Patrol phone line today, Class A state track champions. The Roby Lady Lions will join us to talk about that. You know, Josh, track and baseball, well, you know, track's at such at the end of the semester, and track's one of those sports that you really got to enjoy to compete at it and get better at it. I mean, you can go to the range and hit golf balls all day long. You can go in the gym and shoot baskets, and you can get a buddy and work on throwing to your receivers if you're a quarterback, whatever. But track is one of those. It takes a lot of effort to get ready for it to compete.
It does.
And so,
and there's, you know, going to a track meet, you know, is kind of a grind in and of itself. Being ready at different times and then having downtime and all of
getting
that.
yourself ready for a race,
Yeah.
like it's
if you run one event, then another one, you know, yeah, it's
well, and especially like the distance people. They started off with the 3,200, and then the second to last event is the mile, and so you got these kids that are literally waiting. And if you're a parent of those, all right, well, we're hanging out the rest of it. Yeah, and so we'll have them. They've got relay. They got a shot put girl, but those girls will join us at 7:30 at the bottom of this Embark Land Management Hour number 1. Let's dive into our Lawrence Isle headline report. Again, a lot of stuff to cover. We appreciate you guys tuning in this morning. A lot of NBA news, but we'll start off with hockey. Hockey last night, the Eastern Conference Finals started. Florida winning 3-2 over Carolina. Matthew Tkachuk, quadruple overtime game last night. Makes a goal 12 seconds into that fourth overtime, and Florida takes a 3-2 win and a 1-0 lead in the series. The Dallas Stars kick off the Western Conference Finals tonight against Las Vegas, and so the Stars trying to bring another championship home to wow, Josh, I wish we could show this right now up to the Metroplex.
You're gonna have to turn that off. We need you.
I'm watching the PGA.
No. We need you.
The PGA Championship is on.
Turn it off.
And the guy basically had to take his clothes off to hit a shot. So feel free to tune into that.
If that's what made you look, then I've got other questions for you.
Well, ask away. The NBA news. Unfortunately, Ja Morant cannot stay smart. Ja Morant, the Grizzlies point guard, suspended for another social media posting involving a gun. Of course, submitted an apology, but we're trying to see if we buy into that. And so very disappointing there. Other NBA news, the NBA draft lottery came out this week. The San Antonio Spurs, lucky ball number one. They're looking like they're going to pick Victor Wembanyama from France. Josh, did you look at the video I sent you and Misty?
Yes, I did. That guy's freakish.
7'5" and plays like Kevin Durant. 7'5", basically guard type skills at 7'5". He looks like he's playing either on a Nerf goal that you hang in your bedroom and you can dunk on. And so they're going to get to be picking number one. Early mock drafts out have him number one, and Alabama's Brian Miller, ironically, another gun situation that he was involved in, going number two. The Spurs, the Hornets, and the Trailblazers and the Rockets are the top four picks. The Mavs lottery balls did not drop the way they liked, and they landed number 10 is what they'll be picking. Other NBA news, the Philadelphia 76ers fired Doc Rivers. Doc Rivers, again, without a job. And the other one that surprised me was Monty Williams fired at Phoenix after having great years. And Josh, the NBA is one of the place where they give up on coaches even if they are successful. We've seen that with the Bucks won a championship just a couple years ago. They get rid of Budenholzer. Nurse won a championship at the Raptors. He's looking for a job. So both of those coaches looking for jobs and teams looking for coaches. Also, last night, NBA playoffs, the Los Angeles Lakers fall again to the Denver Nuggets, 108-103. Denver takes a 2-0 lead in the Western Conference Finals. Looks like that age is starting to little kind of play into a factor. Look like LeBron and them, just reading one of Greenberg's tweets, just they look tired. They look a little bit, look almost old. And so Denver, I think it'll be good. Denver's considered a small market, wouldn't you say?
It's on the smaller side. I mean,
when you start looking at
major,
you start looking at the teams that are left. You get the Los Angeles Lakers, who have remarkably maybe one of the best in the league and still one of the best of all time in LeBron, and Denver, and then you got Miami and Boston. Miami, the hottest team right now, who got into the NBA playoffs because of a play-in game. They've got a 1-0 lead over the Celtics. They'll play them tonight. But I'm wondering if you're a network, if you're nervous, if you're going to get Denver and Miami for the NBA Finals.
I mean, we always talk about that. The networks want the major players, and Boston and the Lakers is a kind of a classic throwback series. So that's probably what most would prefer.
I think they're okay for Denver because Jokic is that good. I mean, he's a two-time MVP. And so I think that's a good thing. And so anyway, the NBA Finals or the NBA Conference Finals are rolling along. Jamal Murray had 23 points in the fourth quarter last night alone, 37 points on the night to lead the Nuggets, again, leading that series 2-0. Also, the XFL Championship was last week. The Arlington Renegades, led by Bob Stoops and quarterback Luis Perez, bring home the championship to Arlington. Abram Smith had a good game in that championship game. But I think one of the things that's interesting is 54 players have already been invited to an NFL training camp. There, as of today, there was 18 that had signed. One of those is Ben DiNucci, got a deal with the Denver Broncos. But the XFL, if they continue to do that and continue to put out a product, I don't know how much you actually watched of it, Josh. I tried to watch quite a bit of it. I mean, I know it was in the middle of a lot of other things, but I did watch some XFL throughout the year. And if it will continue to do that and be a pipeline to give opportunities for players to be in the NFL, it's going to be, I think it can be around for a long time.
Well, yes, and that's the one thing that I was reading a little bit of, like, the business side of things, and the past renditions of XFL, AFL, all the different things that have kind of come and gone. did not focus on that as much as this XFL this year. The way that they've done it was specifically to market the players as these guys can play in the NFL. And if that works, if it becomes a true pipeline, a minor league that is more in the baseball sense, it is obviously a minor league football, but if it becomes that kind of you play here to go there, I think it will carry some water because it will have a value beyond just like some random Saturday, Sunday football games during non-football season.
Well, and you made a very good point. When Vince McMahon first started the XFL, it was more of let's still make it football, but let's make it seem like it's still wrestling.
Right.
They had the stupid names and all that kind of stuff, and hoping fights would break out. But here, I mean, it literally, if it can be the Corn Ferry Tour, like on the PGA on the golf circuit, if it can be the Corn Ferry, if it can be that, and I do think the credibility of The Rock and Danny Garcia helps the cause for the validity and credibility of the league.
Well, it does, and
I mean, even though he's a wrestler and all that stuff, I think more people.
Yeah, he's still a big entertainer. I mean,
but I think most people. He's kind of like how most kids today think of John Madden that never did anything in the NFL. A lot of people probably still think of The Rock more of an actor in entertainment outside the ring than inside.
Right, I agree with that, and like I said, when we first started watching, when we had, I forgot his name now, but the linebacker for
Colin Schooler
on, and I was like, okay, I'm going to watch this guy play tomorrow, because it was a Saturday game, and I turned it on. That first week was pretty sloppy, and I was like, I don't know, like this looks B league, but as it went, it got better. And
but in their defense, they didn't get a lot of. There wasn't a preseason for them.
Right,
it was like
yes, that was like watching that first preseason.
That was
game,
your first game,
and people were out of sync and not in the right place.
You could even tell the refs were still trying to learn the rules and understand. Okay, all right, it is here, and the clock runs, and this is all that. And so, but it was enjoyable. I look for season number 2 to be another group of it's the best reality TV there is sports, and another opportunity. The original reality TV in sports. We'll talk more about it, but just a heads up, it is the PGA Championship Week. I'm disappointed in Zach Seitz for not sending anything out, but I'm glad because I would have just wasted $25 because I haven't picked very well in the last time we've done our majors. But round 2 is finishing up today. Round 1. They had Hello Darkness, my old friend, was a problem yesterday. But leading the championship as of now, Bryson DeChambeau, 4 under. Scotty Scheffler, Corey Connors, and DJ all at 3 under. Eric Cole was at 3 under. We'll still look at that. He's still 3 under early on in the first round. Jordan Spieth, Cameron Young, a lot of those guys had a tough first day in Rochester. We'll talk more about that a little bit later. We've got who you got, who owns the number. We got knowing half the battle. Of course, Misty's bag later on in the show. When we come back, Texas Rangers are doing some good things, but it's kind of like Brent Maher is in the bullpen. We'll talk about that more in a moment. It made me think of a kicker. Like how everything else is going good. You send out a kicker to win a game-winning field goal, and he misses it.
Right.
And then now you have to fire him, and you go find another kicker. The problem is, where is the catalog for bullpen pitchers?
It's on other people's teams. You have to give them something for it. I have enjoyed the Coast Live experience. Check out PotosiLive.com and unlock the Potosi Live on Facebook for our upcoming live music and ticket events. Head out to Potosi at 897 FM 1750 for the Potosi Live experience. What if the dealers can have wheels one more thing? Sure, it's an easy thing to do. Just crack open an ice cold Coors Light and a show. Take the afternoon off and binge watch anything. Go to happy hours, live for a couple hours. Who's counting anyways? Or hang out with just your dog because you have a screen that I'll show you some. Whatever you do, do it with Coors Light.
Morning, Doug. Morning, Mom. Seems like the Rangers, I know it's not necessarily true, have had a lot of home games in this first part of the season. Or am I wrong?
I don't know what the percentage of each is. It obviously balances out to.
I mean, I know it's the
82 and
same,
82, or
right?
81 and 81.
But they've got another series this weekend that, and I was kind of listening to Sean Salisbury on the way in. They were talking about Houston. They've got the Altuve may come back tonight, and they've got the Athletics coming to town. It's one of those series you need to dominate. And to me, the Rockies coming to town is the same thing for the Rangers.
Yeah, the thing is, it's very tough to sweep anybody, even if they're terrible. But they for sure have to go 2-1. Right.
You can't do what we did against the Reds.
Right.
Because I do think the Astros are going to start getting better, and I think they're your threat in the division. I'm not worried.
Sure.
I'm not worried about the Angels.
The Angels will prove on themselves.
Right.
Right. The best thing that could happen to the Angels, honestly, is if they stink and fall out of it, they trade Shohei for like a ton of stuff because they're not going to be able to re-sign him.
I don't know why. If you're Shohei, I don't know why you want to stay on the West Coast, even with the Dodgers.
Yeah. Well, it's closer to home. I mean, it makes it easier for his fan following to watch his games because instead of being.
And I guess the thing about the Dodgers is you're going to be more competitive.
I think he will go to. I mean, the Dodgers, maybe the Yankees. You know, like it's going to take a big market, big spending team to get him. You know, like because he's going to want the big market. I think. Obviously, it's going to cost a ton.
Hey, we're back.
I'm ready. Why don't scold me?
I couldn't tell what you were about to go do.
I'm going to leave. I'm just going to go. You know what? I'm out.
Good morning and welcome back to the Hodge Pack Sports Life and everything in between as we're rocking and rolling in Embark Land Management, hour number 1. Again, give them a call anytime you need any land needs, development, clearing. Give them a shout. Check them out at embarklandmanagement.com and they'll get you taken care of. Josh, Texas Rangers are rolling right along at 26-17, still leading the West by a couple of games. The Astros starting to play a little bit better. Chance that Altuve is going to make his debut today as they have a series with the Oakland Athletics. We have a series with the Colorado Rockies this past week. The recent, not real recent, but not long ago, World Series champs Braves came to town to Arlington for a 3-game series. And the Rangers right now are doing a lot of things. And the reason I mentioned Brett Maher as we were going to break is simply because it's kind of like when you play really good football and you need a field goal to win the game and it shanks. That's a problem.
Mm-hmm.
Well, our field goal kicker is the bullpen.
The 7th and 8th inning, specifically. You know, Will Smith has come on. You know, he did give up 1 home run and blow a save, but you know, as I was speaking with some coworkers yesterday that brought that up, you know, I said Will Smith's doing all right, and they were, he blew one too, and I'm reminded that I don't know the number, but Mariano Rivera has a fairly decent amount of blown saves in his career also. So I mean, even the best are going to blow some saves. So I think Will Smith is fine with being down there. He just needs some help. And the seventh and eighth inning, specifically, the people that have been rotating through that setup job this season, Leclerc, Hernandez, have just not gotten it done. And it's been rough. When Josh Spores is now getting some high leverage innings. Not that he's got good stuff, but that's not the guy at the beginning of the year that you wanted in there in the eighth inning. He blew it this last week once, so that's rough. But I've said it to so many times I don't recall specifically if I said it on the radio, but the bullpen is the easiest thing to fix in season on a baseball team because you don't have to go out and get the next Trevor Hoffman to be to shore up your bullpen. You can get some set up seventh, eighth inning guys that are on the last year of their contract from other teams that are not in competition this year. So I think that's going to have to happen. I know that the Rangers are out there scouting, and Young is working the phone. He's looking for a deal. It will happen. It obviously just has to wait till other teams are ready to officially throw in the towel, which they want to put off as long as possible because nothing deflates the fan base like your GM waving the white flag. So
way early.
Yeah.
Well, and since they've added the wild card, extra playoff spots, it makes the season and it puts a lot more people playing for something
in contention
and playing late in the season, and it makes the trade deadline interesting because hey, we are this close. If we could just get a couple of here, a couple of there,
right,
then we're right back where we have a chance.
Some teams are absolutely out of it. Others are like, you have to make the decision: do we play to maybe squeak in as that second wild card team? If our cards fell right, could we get that second wild card team? Could we win a series if we were the second wild card team? And that's when so all that will come to bear.
And baseball is very similar to basketball in that. In football, if you get in, you just have to win that one game to advance. In baseball and basketball, you've got to win a series to go. But we're seeing that with the Miami Heat right now. If you can get hot at the right time, and that's why we're all, as Rangers fans, we're excited. It's fun. They're fun to watch. Those of you that can, God bless you. But that's what you want to get hot at the right time, like the Miami Heat are, because you can still be hot enough to slide in. Maybe you come into the playoffs on two wheels, being that hot, and you can go on a run like the Heat are doing.
Right. And, and we've definitely mentioned that, DeGrom did throw a bullpen. So he threw a bullpen on Tuesday. They're going to reevaluate, do some MRIs and stuff to see if the inflammation comes back. I'm not holding my breath.
Now,
but
I heard this thought of moving him to the bullpen. That's what happened in the career of John Smoltz later on.
Yes.
Dennis Eckersley, later on in his career, got moved to the bullpen and became a reliever, became a guy that went and got saves. Would you be opposed to that if everybody else can do their job? Because right now, our starting rotation, nothing wrong with it. But if you had that stud,
I don't think you're paying him that type of money to be a closer, even though he now if the evaluation came back that the way that his arm is, he could handle an inning, and do that a few times a week, then if you can get him on the field and that's the way to do it, I'm fine with that. I'd rather see him in there for 5 or 6 innings, every sixth day, just lighting up the radar gun and throwing people chairs to go have a seat,
Right.
But that.
But the main thing is you want to be paying him to pitch.
Yes, not
in
sit on
whatever
the bench.
form or fashion.
And as we spoke about getting hot at the right time and all of that, I'm fine with them slow playing his return if you have him as one of your 3 guys doing a playoff rotation with the way Evaldi's pitching right now, and then you can pick who's next after that. But they're Perez has kind of been off a couple of starts. John Gray has been back on a couple of starts, but you figure that out who's hot at the time. So they've got a chance. But really, what I have to make a public mea culpa to Grant Cunningham specifically. 2 years ago, when El Bombi, when Adolis Garcia came onto the scene with the Rangers, didn't make the team out of spring training, but then was an all-star by the all-star break. I said, this can't last. This guy's going to turn back to a pumpkin. His chase rate's too high. He swings through too many pitches. Can't sustain. 2 years later, he's still not only sustaining but thriving. Because I read this little article about who are potential all-stars, and he was listed as a dark horse candidate, I guess. But then I looked at the stats. He's leading the league in home runs, leading the league in RBIs, is number 3 in runs scored, and is top 20 in OPS. And that's for a guy that doesn't walk. So he's lighting up the scoreboard. Hit 2 home runs the other day in the loss with the bullpen blowing it. But that's one of those guys that, and I guess the fun thing about the Texas Rangers is their offense is obviously playing pretty well. And they've got guys that are not just, it's not just your Corey Seagers and Marcus Semien. Seager is back and hopefully can get back on the role that he was before he got injured. But, Jonah Heim and Adolis Garcia, who are those next tier players, are playing they both at this point I think should be starters on the All-Star team if the fans voted for actually who was the best at their particular position.
And not a popularity contest.
Right. Yeah. But so that we'll see how that goes. But that they're definitely fun to watch. And then Josh Young, we've talked about, he was Rookie of the Month in April. May's been kind of a struggle for him. Way too many strikeouts. He's got to get going back in the right direction. But and really I guess the silver lining to the Corey Seager injury was it got Ezekiel Duran consistent playing time, and that dude is mashing. Yeah. He hits the ball with authority. He hit a home run the other day that came off the bat at 118 miles an hour. It's one of those numbers that's just eye popping. How hard he hits the ball and how well he's doing. So the cogs are falling into place, and we really the like you said, the kicker shanking it is the problem. That 7th and 8th inning, we hope to see something happen to change that.
Well, and maybe we'll start seeing contests like they did at Tech. You get a kicker, you get a student. Maybe we'll see contests in between innings at Globe Live. Hey, come down. Maybe you can be in the bullpen. When we come back, we're going to look at call up our folks at Roby. The state champion Lady Lions will join us on our Pest Patrol phone line in just a moment. And congratulations, speaking of Pest Patrol phone line, Weldon Hurt, the new mayor of Abilene, Texas. Congratulations to Weldon, Debbie, and their entire family for Weldon being elected mayor of Abilene. When we come back, these girls may not be mayor of Roby, but they are state champions, and they'll join us right after this. Hello. All right. All right. Kim, is that you? I'm assuming. Okay. Who am I talking to? Okay. All right. So I've got on my notes, I got Lily, Chastity, Callie, Haley, Taylor, Mackenzie. Am I missing anybody else? Which one? Who's all in the room? Okay. And what? Laya. Okay. All right. So what I'll do, okay, we got some commercials. When we come back, I'm going to say, you know, it'll be pretty simple, but um, basically, who do we have? And you'll say, this is whatever your name is. And I'm going to ask what's your name and what did you compete in? And then we'll just talk about track. And so if I call your name, I'll say, like, our Taylor, and then just answer. It's just going to be simple questions, nothing hard. Okay. Okay. All right. I think the only one I have a connection to is Avery because I coached with her dad, or your dad, Avery, since you're there. Actually, Callie, uh, Ethan. So Ethan's your brother, right? He dates a friend of mine's daughter, Reese. Yeah. Uh, so Lily and Chastity Benson. Yeah, I don't know. Taylor Jeffrey, are you related to Kyle Jeffrey in any form or fashion? Okay. Yeah. Y'all probably don't even know who I am. I don't think I ever had any of y'all in elementary PE. There would have been no way. That'd have been a long time ago. So, but my name's on a couple of gold basketballs at that school, so you got that going for you. Yeah, that's about it. I got to watch your coach dominate in basketball and everything that she did. It was pretty awesome. So, all right. And so Kim's not on the air at all. She's just watching, or is she even there? Oh wow, she didn't want any part of that. All right. All right, we got one more commercial, and then I'll bring you on, and we'll just start talking Lady Lion track. Okay. Okay. All right. Welcome back to the Hodge Pack, sports, life, and everything in between, right here on 106.9, The Country Giant. It's time for our Big Country Electric My Town segment, brought to you by Big Country Electric Cooperative. They have 3 amazing offices, Roby, Snyder, and Stanford. And joining us on our Pest Patrol phone line from one of those amazing towns, Roby, Texas. Joining us on the Pest Patrol phone line is the state champion, Roby Lady Lions. We've got a whole team. We've got a slew of them. So we're going to let them introduce themselves. Joining us. All right, ladies, just start off. Give everybody your name and what event you were in the state track meet. Go for it. Fantastic. That is awesome. So, ladies, we were talking about it in the break. Track is something that you don't just. Well, I'll start with you, Taylor. How much do you enjoy? Because track is a very tough sport. You've got to, obviously you got to run, and you've got to do all these things to stay in shape and get ready to run. You've got 3,200. You're running the 2 mile early, then you got to get ready to run later. But Taylor, what do you enjoy about track? Well, and so a little bit that you talk about, competitive, and especially when you start looking, and one of the reasons that you become a state champion is the points that you get from the relay. And so Haley, you're part of it. Haley, you run the 2 mile or the 3,200, and then part of the relay too. But just talking about how working and getting that consistent, because one handoff goes way wrong, now you're in a bind. Talk a little bit about that relay connection, but also preparing not only the relay but being a distance runner too. So Haley, do you make sure you don't try to run like 4 more laps or anything with it? And so, Chassie, or Lily, you run the mile and then the relay back to back, boom, boom. How do you kind of get yourself mentally ready? Because the mile, especially if you're any good at it, you're running really hard for 4 laps and then adding a relay to it. Lily. That's good. So talk about how like you stay, stay competitive and stay in shape. We'll go back to you. We'll go to you, Chastity. Just staying in shape and doing the things that it takes because again, going back to with basketball, you can go and you can shoot and do these things and work on skill, but staying in shape and knowing that it, again, maybe hot, maybe cold, maybe windy, but staying in where do you get your confidence when you go to compete at the track at a track? Well, and you talk about letting teammates down and all those things. And again, we talked about the handoffs and how that's important. Chastity, talk about how when you have, and one of the reasons that y'all are able to get fitted for state championship rings and have those gold medals around your neck is because having so many people competing. I mean, obviously, the more people you have competing, the opportunity to get points on how important that every point matters, even if it's sixth place or fourth. Maybe it's not first, but how every point matters and the encouragement you get from that. Just talk about how making sure you don't let them down by finding a way to get some type of point on the board in the event that you do. Chastity, take that away. Well, and so Callie, you throwing the shot put. Uh, how many? And again, I think Coach Williams is talking about how you may have a chance to break her record one day. Talk about how important it is not only to have somebody like Coach Williams who has competed at that level, who knows how to do that, have her coaching you in your role in the shot put on helping bring that state championship to Rhodes. Well, and so let's talk about it. What did it feel like knowing that, again, of course, the girls basketball team has won a state championship back in 08, 09. What it meant that you're bringing another state championship back to Roby. Taylor, what was that feeling like knowing, hey, we are the best in the state? Our 47 points was enough. Talk a little bit about that feeling, Taylor, of becoming a state champion.
knowing that we all tried our best and did it all, that feeling of accomplishment right after we got announced was overwhelming, and I feel like every one of us just soaked it in as long as we could, and we're going to remember this for the rest of our lives.
Well, and whoever wants to answer this question can just be sure one of you, not all of you at the same time. But how can this state championship? We see it in other schools where maybe they win a state championship in football. We saw it in Holly; they won a state championship in football, and it rolled over, and they were very competitive in basketball. They're still competing in baseball. How do you see maybe you girls allowing this state championship in track to overflow to maybe some of the other sports at Roby?
Kind of brings us the confidence that we need. It allows us to have more of a reliance on each other rather than just one. Instead of us going out and going after our own events, we're learning to be more team-minded and realize that, like I said earlier, every point matters. I feel like we're getting a better sense of reliance on our amazing coaches and on each other that is needed to help make our program better and better as the years come.
Well, and I think that's exactly right, because that's what you want to do is leave that legacy. Now, I know y'all told us what you ran, but do we have any seniors in the room, or is everybody coming back?
We have one senior.
And who is that? Okay. Oh, and Mackenzie. So we going through. There's so many in the room. Throwing the discus again. Talk about that prep and getting. There's so many events that people can qualify in, and you qualified in the discus, and you also not only qualify in the discus, but pretty smart in the classroom. Am I correct? Am I right, Mackenzie? Can you tell our listeners how smart you are?
I'm the salutatorian.
That's pretty smart. When you're the salutatorian, that's pretty smart. So talk about how your training was getting ready for the discus, because do y'all have to run, or do you just throw on repeat?
Yes, I had to run a lot this year. Coach Williams made me run almost every day.
Hey, well, Mackenzie, you got to be ready to run to the top of that discus ring. It's very important. It's very important to be able to sprint to the top of that discus ring. So one senior, everybody's coming back. Do you have the mindset, hey, let's figure out a way we can go back to back and win 2 state championships?
We definitely do.
Well, I appreciate y'all taking the time. Y'all are one of the few. Holly's one of them. You're out of school, get to start summer. So are y'all going to run a lot all summer? Is that your plan? Just run like 2 miles on repeat and all that? Y'all just going to do a bunch of running?
Yes, sir.
Oh, you don't have to lie. Oh, you really are going to run? Awesome. Well, there you go. That's what state champions do. Again, I want to thank, make sure we get all the lists down. I want to thank Lily, Chassie. Now, real quick, Avery, you were an alternate. Talk about, were you ready at any moment to be able to fit in or fill in if you had to?
Oh, yes, sir. I worked out with them. Like, we all did the same workout, and I was ready, like, if something were to happen.
Well, good. With you and Layla, opportunities to be there, that's great. And so want to give a shout out again. We've got Lily, Chastity, Callie, Haley, Taylor, Mackenzie, Leah, and Avery. So, girls, we appreciate y'all taking time this morning. I hope you have a safe and great summer, and hopefully you can bring back, maybe we get you come to the studio when y'all get your big rings and we can show those off. All right, that is the Roby Lady Line state champion tracksters getting ready to kick off their summer today. So appreciate Big Country Electric Co-op for sponsoring our My Town segment, and Coach Kim Williams setting this up for us this morning. When we come back, we're going to open up Misty's bag and see what's in there. We'll be back right after this. Thanks, girls. Y'all have a good one. Bye.
Yes.
That was a lot of kids in our room.
We were saying, you're so sweet when you're interviewing girls. You're like, bye, girls. Bye, girls.
See you, chicks.
Thought I'd been waiting for that girl was like, highway, and then runs into the car.
Great drinks, live music, TVs to watch your favorite sport events. The Potosi Live team will make sure you have an experience that you're going to tell your friends about. Check out PotosiLive.com or go like them at Potosi Live on Facebook for their upcoming live music and ticket events. Head out to Potosi at 897
How are
FM for the Potosi Live experience.
Get the to-do list you have needs one more thing. Chill. It's an easy thing to do.
Yes.
Just crack open an ice cold Coors Light and chill. Take the afternoon off and binge watch anything. Go to happy hour and stay for a couple hours. Who's counting minutes? Or hang out with just your dog because you've had enough human interaction this week. Whatever you do it with a Coors Light.
Oh my
An on-cold refreshment made to chill. Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado.
I didn't think it had cheese on it.
Go ahead. That's okay.
It had cheese on it. I don't like cheese.
For Indiana, from large chains to locally owned mom and pops like us. I want you to know we really appreciate your business and are always striving for wonderful food, service, and prices. So we listen to you and have updated our menu, bringing back old favorites like nachos and fajitas, and adding more small plates for the light appetite. So come see us. We will hear you say, yum, yum.
Your laptop, TV, mobile phone, or devices. You might say your Touchstone Energy Cooperative is in the business of keeping you connected to everyone and everything that's essential. Day or night, we're always here, making life easier. Because when all is said and done, of all the connections we have,
You have to tell that my face is up here.
Yeah. Quit. Yeah. Quit filming other things.
Visit online at bigcountry.com. Hello, Abilene and the Big Country. Keith Glover here with Disability Resources Incorporated. I'm here to let you know about our document destruction and paper shredding business. Our services include routine pickup, purges, early upset drop-offs at our state-of-the-art, safe, and secure
You
facility.
look at
Our folks
look.
at DRI are
Yes.
better known
Well,
as
I mean, who else
DRI
could it have
shredders.
been?
We're here to assist
Like
and
this,
serve
I feel like
in
that
the
segment's
destruction
gonna be
of
super
private documents
short.
or just those annoying stacks or boxes we've had piled
Yes.
up over the years.
Really
Please call at
nothing else
325-232-6867.
debatable.
Well, and the older the number, or the higher the number.
Yes.
Well, there's no basketball, no baseball, at least in the traditional.
Right.
The only it would have to be records.
Right.
Like 79 is a pretty good one. It's basketball related.
At 1166 Benrichie Drive, Mulligan Sports Bar, Grill, and Golf. You'll be glad you did. Embark Land Management is the most versatile and capable land management contractor in the Big Country, serving private and commercial customers alike. Embark can get the job done. So if you need a stock tank cleaned out, a pond constructed, or stock prep and lake clearing, give Embark Land Management a call at 325-668-7071. Transparency, communication, and trust. That's what you get with Embark Land Management. So give Daniel a call at 325-668-7071 or check out the website at embarkland.com.
I mean, that's the only other thing is an achievement.
Welcome back to the Hodge Pack. We are rocking and rolling. Embark Land Management Hour number 1. PJ Championship underway. 105th PJ Championship. Bryson DeChambeau is the leader. Michael Block has started his second round and now up to 3 under. Joins a number of folks at 3 under, along with Scotty Scheffler and DJ as well. Again, the live players are allowed to play in the majors. Other notes, again, Doc Rivers and Monty Williams fired this week. Dallas kicks off the Stanley Cup Western Conference Finals tonight against the Las Vegas Golden Knights. And, of course, the Lakers are down 2-0 to the Nuggets. Misty is here, rocking and rolling. How's the week gone for you?
Good. It's been a busy week. So
You're
I'm
kind
minus
of
Friday.
you're kind of coming to the end of senior year. How are you handling that?
I haven't cried at all this week, so I feel like pretty good right
Just
now.
this week?
Just this week.
Is that because
week.
you haven't had anything to go to cry?
Well, I did go to he was awarded, he's a top senior for his graduating class. And so there was an assembly. And so I went to that. But I haven't cried yet. I got a little teary making something for his graduation party, but no tears fell. So I'm feeling pretty good.
So do you feel like is makeup choice going to be important for next Friday?
Oh yeah, waterproof all day long. Waterproof mascara will be
So what
on the eyes.
what makes you, again, I don't have kids, but what makes it, what brings the tears?
I think for me, I'm just really proud of Ethan. Like, and obviously we've all graduated. It's just such an accomplishment, but
It's an assumption. We don't really know if I do.
right? Let's check that diploma. But, you know, Ethan's had a rough year. I mean, we've, lost loved ones, and he has had to deal with things that most teenage kids haven't had to deal with. And for that, I am just very, very proud of him that he's been able to keep his mental health strong, keep his head about him, and make the grades. I mean, he's finishing with almost a 94 average with everything that he's involved in, all the extracurriculars, NHS. He's an ambassador for the school. He does PALs. I mean, the kid does all the things. He also works at Chick-fil-A. And so for that, I can't be more proud of him. And so that's where the tears come. It's just that feeling of, and we're a blended family. I mean, we're a blended family, and we've done it well. And so it's very important for Roger and I and the rest of our crew, the village that took to raise him. So yeah, we're very excited for him.
Well, and some people cry because, they're graduating. Some of them, it's their tears of joy because they're empty nesting.
Yes.
So, but again,
Yes.
weeks, you got a week left, and
Yes.
he gets to graduate. And
Now
so
next Friday, I don't know. If you ask me that same question, it may be a different story. I may tear up
we
a
will
little.
we'll
but-
test that. She may be the disaster of the week next week.
Probably will be.
But one thing that won't be a disaster, at least Josh and I hope, and that is when we open that bag.
The scream, I just love it. Yes, it is time for Mulligan's Bag. So y'all get on over to Mulligan's 1166 Ben Ritchie Drive. And don't forget the bash is coming up. It is next Friday night. You can still get tickets. So y'all go check it out. They've got Kevin Fowler, Roger Prager, Kirk House, tons of awesome artists. So there is still time. So go get your tickets. All right. So it's a scenario today. Scenario question in the bag. Here's the scenario. You lost a bet, and now you have to enter an eating competition. What are you eating, and how many are you putting down?
We had a buddy that did the enchiladas one time, and how many did he eat?
Oh, it was
Like 53
it
or
was,
something like
it
that.
was insane.
I mean, the sunflower seeds, I think about 2,000. Actually, it's probably more
That's
than that.
great, actually. That's the best.
I will eat 2,000 sunflower seeds.
Or how
Do
many
you
is it
think
about?
you could do 2,000?
No, your mouth would turn to like
No,
mush.
if you get spits, for whatever reason, their amount of salt that's on theirs, because that's normally, I don't do coffee. So if I'm driving and it's a long road trip and maybe I have to stay awake, sunflower seeds
Stay
is,
a week.
Stay awake.
A week or a week.
yeah, not to be weak, I stay awake. So I could do a lot of sunflower seeds.
So 2,000. I feel like we should test this theory.
I'm not going to count 2,000 sunflower seeds.
Do you know how
Maybe
hard
we
that
could,
would be?
Like contents judged
I
by
can
weight.
count to 2,000. I don't know about y'all, but I can. So I'll count them out and put them in a cup.
All right, I want to see that.
Okay.
2,000 sunflower seeds.
I will
Okay.
count them out.
Do we
and
know
bring
how
them
many
next
are in?
week.
We can reach out to Spitz and see how many are in a bag. Like,
I don't think they know that.
They don't know. I don't think they know.
you don't think they have
Because
somebody
there's a
go?
couple little ones slide through.
They're
the
not.
little.
They're not a.
Do you ever wonder why the stick, like some of them,
Yes, because that's
Yes.
how much they pay attention. They
They
put
just-
stems in.
I think
Yeah.
the little ones like slide through the assembly,
Yeah.
and so they don't know. There's no way to count that.
What about the ones that are already open? Do you count those?
oh,
When you-
bucket's
when you-
good.
in
It's
the-
my
in the
fault.
bucket.
And then the burnt ones, there's
That's
just, I
terrible.
can't.
Is
They
if you
taste
get a
like
bad,
dirt.
Yeah,
if you
I
get a
know.
bad sunflower seed and you're out of beverage,
Yeah,
like
you need something to drink.
It will
It's just
literally
like
ruin your
what?
day.
Yeah.
yeah. So sunflower seeds, I think I could really dominate 2,000. That's
2,000. I feel
2,000.
like that's a pretty good guess.
I want to see.
I will count them out.
Count them.
I will.
We can do this live on air.
I
Instead of
shall.
talking, he just has to eat sunflower seeds. It'll be the best show ever.
We'll
No,
count them out and
no,
rate them.
instead of Facebook Live, we just go and I'm just
Just him eating
video.
sunflower seeds.
I
But
can't
if that's
spit
not
And then-
riveting,
and
it
then-
is
Don't
painful.
know that? I cannot spit them. I have to put.
do you eat the shell?
No. Y'all are gonna laugh, but
You put it in your fingers.
I have to like, and then I spit it out individually. I cannot like put a lot in my mouth and then
Maybe
do it
you
individually.
maybe you would be the easiest to count to 2,000.
I'll just count. I'm
One,
not eating them.
Okay.
Okay.
Moy Garcia, again, one of the hardest working people, best
He
guys
is.
alive, says, "Good morning. Sunflower seeds keep me going on long road trips."
Yeah.
No doubt. Sunflower
They
seeds.
do until they
And I-
turn
and I-
my mouth to like.
But if you,
chopped
I'm
meat.
telling you, the Spitz brand, for whatever
I
reason,
bet you're wrong. I've used Spitz brand. They're good. The
and
flavors
I'm
are
not,
good.
I don't like going out on the limb on the flavor, but
What's the best flavor for you?
I'm just original. I like original.
Oh, okay.
What like
Not surprised.
David's? They all get creative with like cheesy taco,
Yes,
crispy
I like
cordito.
ranch
I've never
and like
tried
black
anything.
cracked pepper or
the-
something like that.
The cracked
The
pepper is a
ranch
big
and
one's
one.
cracked
really
pepper, I like.
That's
The
pretty good
pickle
too.
flavored ones I like.
Dill pickle one.
Ooh,
Yeah.
Which
yes,
is
I
just
love
like
pickle.
vinegar and salt. You know, it's like it's good.
The pickle's
But
the best.
I really do love sunflower
Alright,
seeds.
so-
So that is like very.
I don't think it. I don't
I
think they're.
want to.
I don't think
I
that-
want to see what 2,000 sunflower seeds look like. So you have to do that.
Okay,
Okay,
I
I'm
will
in.
do this. I will
I'm in.
bring it.
I mean, you could be kind of underwhelmed by like that's not really that many. I mean, I don't know how many is in a
I
normal
want to
bag?
see it.
That's
I'm
right.
gonna do it. I wonder how many bags. I
You're
can
gonna
buy.
do 2,000, or I'm
No,
gonna do 2,000.
you're eating them. I'm buying them.
Oh, okay.
I'll buy them and stick them in some sort of container that.
I'll
will
send you
hold
the
them.
invoice.
Yeah.
Here's 2,000. So, Josh, what are you?
Well, I mean, I don't know. I never would have thought sunflower seeds, but I have definitely on a road trip eaten a lot of sunflower seeds. Where like the Coke bottle that you're spitting them in runs out of room, like.
And then you just start trying to make
like, you gotta
room,
pour it out the window while
Yeah,
you're driving.
yeah.
It's blowing in the wind.
and you
know,
can't
it's just
spit it
wrong.
because it's coming back at you. Yeah.
Yeah, and then they end up like all over your pickup somehow, like always.
I wish I could spit them. I'd have to like flick them.
Flick.
We're totally. That is our
I
next
need to
commercial.
practice this.
Our next commercial is sunflower seeds. We're gonna reach out to.
Someone please sponsor.
We're gonna
us.
reach out to Spitz and hey, 2,000 of them. Hey, Spitz. There we go. We're on it.
Okay.
All right.
I mean, it's really kind of hard to think, but I mean,
But what was the actual premise of the question?
you-
like why
you
we
have
lost
to-
a
you have
bet?
to eat-
You just
yeah, you lost a bet.
You lost a
You have
bet.
to do-
Your buddies are like,
I
hey,
mean,
you have to enter this eating competition, and you have
If
to
it's-
pick what you're eating.
If it's like an actual competition, I'll just do the hot dogs at the Coney Island deal.
I cannot do it in the water. Oh my
Oh
gosh.
no, that
You know how they like stick it in the
That-
water?
yeah, that's-
the whole thing
Yeah.
and the bun gets all soggy.
Yeah.
I can't do
no.
that.
I
wouldn't do
thought
that.
maybe you might go like you have to do because you wouldn't know what would be left, like boneless wings. But you'd have to be the right flavor
Oh, yeah,
contest of
yeah.
wings.
How many can you put down?
I mean, I don't know. I don't eat as much as I used to, but
In your
but
prime,
but
Joshua.
back in the day, you know, like I could do pizza because I could eat like a large pizza by myself. You know, just like
Like a bagel bite contest would be hilarious.
bagel bites. That's a good one. But yeah, so if I had to enter like a specific contest, it would be the hot dogs in Coney Island because that's like the quintessential.
But you remember we had that
Yes.
lady that was entering,
And
it,
she
Yeah.
was so tiny.
and then her and her I think husband, I don't know if they were married yet, but husband were entering a pizza contest later,
Uh-huh.
and that we were all like mesmerized, like there's literally a contest for everything
And
out
I
there.
was like, I think I kept saying, "You're so tiny." Like I just assumed that if you're eating a lot, I don't know.
But Joey
maybe you're a little-
Chestnut's not a big
You're a
guy.
little bigger person.
It's
No.
not like the guy off of Austin Powers.
I know, but it was just
Yeah,
so
that-
wild to me that
So
she
you're-
put
but
that
you're-
many
you're
down.
thinking-
Austin Powers. Oh,
Oh,
yeah,
you
you
got
can't
it
say
now.
it on the air.
yeah,
You're like, huh?
yeah, that's what I
It's
said.
in my belly.
Yeah.
Good hold
Yeah.
back.
But so anyway, what's your thought?
I think I'm gonna go candy.
What candy?
I think I'm going Chewy Sprees.
Oh man, no.
Or
They,
the
like,
little
your
bitty-
teeth would fall out.
Or the little
know.
bitty, like sweet tarts. They're like little bitty ball,
Mhm.
like. Yeah.
I think you can maybe do something like M&Ms or
Ooh, M&M minis.
yeah,
Like
you
I
can do
need
that.
something
I don't-
small.
Do you remember the
No
skillets, the
No chocolate.
sixlets,
Yes.
the itty bitty ones? Yeah.
I don't know what you just said.
Yes, but that's true.
What?
Sixlets.
But anyway, all right, that's good stuff. You're going candy. You're going
Hot dogs. Just
hot dogs,
keep it
and
real.
we're on the search for 2,000 sunflower seeds. When we come back, we'll kick off hour number 2 right after this.
Hey,
You said something about putting it in your mouth. And
Yes, you
doing
did.
something to yourself.
I know you looked at me and I was like, I'm sorry. My bad.
It wasn't the worst one.
Awesome.
No, but I was waiting for you to do something with that wet hot dog, and I was going to lose it.
I tried to be very careful.
I know you got careful when you started talking about the hot dog. You were like, I could tell that you were like.
I was trying not to say like, yeah, stick a hot dog in my mouth or whatever, because then everybody would lose their mind.
Hello, Abilene and the Big Country. Keith Glover here with this.
Hey, Becky, this is KLGD. I saw that you had called. I didn't know if you.
Our services include.
Did you call the station?
Or we accept drop-offs at our state-of-the-art safe and secure facility. Our folks at are better known as the AR shippers.
I don't even have a clue.
Okay. Who are you with, Becky? Oh, okay. I'll get Greg Austin to give you a call. All right, thanks, Becky.
Did Leanne love your bobblehead? Or was she like, dang it, Misty is.
The kids loved it.
Oh, good.
They were super
I
excited.
said, you're getting a prize next week. Josh gets a bobblehead. What the heck do I get?
You got a Josh Johnson push card?
I did. And he goes,
I
"Please
didn't get
hang out with
anything.
us." Yes, I'm bringing you sunflower seeds.
Oh.
2,000 of them. I'm going to have to use my brain power to count. I will count them out. And I will not put any burnt ones in there.
How are you going to count now?
Yeah, I'm going to lick them off.
Where do I know your hands have been?
You don't have to put them in your mouth if you don't want. My hands are going to be
You got to
clean.
put them in. You got to put it in your mouth if you.
Well,
Crack them with a
I
pair of
mean-
pliers.
Y'all, I
No.
literally individually. I'll go.
I just don't understand how you can't spit.
I mean, I can, but my tongue is so large that it literally.
That's the weirdest thing I've ever heard.
I'm not kidding. I'm not. Have y'all ever seen it? It like. it
How about
gets in
ever
the
seen your
way.
tongue? I like big tongues that can I like.
I'm not kidding. Sometimes I get tongue tied. It's so big, and I don't think I can like
Help
maneuver it.
myself. Your tongue's big?
I have a very. I'm crying. I have a like long tongue, and so it gets in the way. I'm
Oh,
not kidding.
Clay, thank God you're listening.
Clay knows.
He should.
He knows. It's very large. And so I think that's what prohibits me from being able to like
Hey.
maneuver.
Hey, yo, I get tongue a lot of stuff in here.
Tongue alive. Shut. I'm crying like legit tears.
Hey,
But it's true. Jesus made me this way. I can't help it.
what?
I'm going to sit out the golf segment. I don't like to talk about
I don't know what to say.
Boring.
I cannot. But I really think that's my problem, is what I'm saying.
Oh my gosh.
It's like a cherry stem.
So, no,
Do you
what
need-
I
can't
do,
that either.
not today. I'm going to only talk golf briefly, but championships, on how they matter, what,
But do they?
that's what we're going to.
I don't know.
Championships matter. Oh my gosh.
Oh my
Oh, play that when you're talking.
Welcome back to the Hodge Pack Sports Life and everything in between. We're kicking off hour number 2 right here on the Hodge Pack, sports life and everything in between. And we literally had everything in between a while ago during Misty's bag. We are on the search of 2,000 sunflower seeds. We are going to get Misty a spitting coach so she can learn how to spit a sunflower seed. So could you do some?
I would actually love that. It would
but
improve my quality of life.
Can you do?
Would it really?
Yeah, because I'm a softball mom. I'm a baseball mom. Like I eat the seeds.
Do you think the thing that you really need to invent, and we're going to get to sports, I promise, in a moment.
Invent?
Yes,
Like
invent.
those people that just do a handful, mind blowing.
Oh, yeah.
I can't.
But
Sometimes you get too much, it's kind of hard. Both sides of the mouth.
There's so many turf fields now.
Yeah, where do you spit the sunflowers?
You need to create the machine that pick it all of them up.
Yeah.
Is there one?
They exist.
Huh?
A solo cup.
They have vacuum.
But
They vacuum the field.
like ACS just built their brand new baseball field. No sunflower seeds allowed. Sunflower seeds are kind of like a staple for
It's
baseball.
important. It's part of
I
the
would probably
experience.
just not abide by that rule.
Bring your own solo cup.
Yeah. So anyway, we got a lot of everything in between. We're on the search for 2,000 sunflower seeds. I wonder how long that's going to take to eat 2,000.
And to count it out. No one's thinking about me here. I'm gonna have to
I
count it out.
obviously did. It's like, what do you do? 1,
I guess
2,
so. I'm gonna get my
3,
I'm gonna get
4,
my help with my team, and I'm gonna say, hey,
6,
let's count these out
7.
together.
Can you pour it? Y'all are
Hey,
both
just go with the tellers to do it. Maybe they can pour it in that machine back there.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Y'all both work at
They'll
banks.
jam it up. They'll be spitting out everywhere. That would be amazing.
Maybe you can learn how to spit.
She's probably better at it than you.
Yeah.
I can spit normally, just not
We
the
already have
seeds and
AI.
all.
We have an AI better spitter than Misty. So, kicking off hour number 2, the PJ Championship is underway. Round 2 has kicked off. Bryson DeChambeau is your leader currently. And the PJ Championship a lot of times doesn't get the love that you should. And because, yeah, good call, Josh.
I literally
that's
just
funny.
hit my drink out.
That's
I
funny.
laughed so hard.
Josh,
Oh my
but-
God.
And that's a very good time. We just started a brand new contest in here. We're not going to tell you what kind of contest that is.
I'm not
That
kidding.
involves
I spit
involves
my
water.
drink
But
out. Look at this.
But it's very fitting that you played that boring sounder because a lot of people, because the Masters is what it is, the Open is always known because it's the oldest major in golf, and then you've got the U.S. Open because of the difficult golf course. Well, the PGA Championship, over the last few years, it's been some of the most competitive majors that we've had. And the question that I brought up to y'all in the rundown of how big of a necessity is it to win and still have a great career is because Matt Fitzpatrick earlier this week, who is the current U.S. Open champion, was talking about his 2021 season, that he didn't win a tournament but had a really good year. And in golf, the benefit of that, and I guess it's similar, Josh, in our years where the Rangers haven't been very good, they still get paid even though they're not winning. In the golf world, they're earning that check each week and don't necessarily win because you've got guys like Wyndham Clark, Tommy Fleetwood. Tommy Fleetwood has been a pro a number of years, has 0 wins, but has won $16 million in his career. And I guess you would equate that to a guy that's at the middle of his talent level tier of sports, maybe a decent cornerback or a decent coming off the bench guy in basketball, or even a middle reliever that makes a really good living and never wins. What sport? Everybody, Tommy Fleetwood for the longest is probably still now considered the best to not win a major. He's not only that, he's probably the best to not even win a tournament. What sport do you feel like championships matter more than anything else?
I don't know, because I think they all matter in the sense of like your long-term legacy, is better if you're on championship teams, and like you're generally considered a better player if you're, consistently in the talk of winning championships, whether it's in football, baseball, or golf, or whatever. I guess in golf you hear the like, this guy's never won a major thing more, like it's more of a thing. But there's plenty of people that get to the end of their NFL, MLB, NBA career, and they're like, well, he never won a championship. Like that's some sort of ding on them, like. Whereas there are people like an Eli Manning who won 2 championships and kind of had in my opinion, middling career, but people are talking he's a Hall of Fame quarterback. So I think that it is a major big deal, but at the same time, it's really not. I mean, it doesn't. I don't think that if you're like you said playing at that level, in golf it's obviously different because all those people enter tournaments and only one can win. And in team sports, there is just one champion at the end of the year. But it's kind of
and the other thing about golf, there's there's basically a tournament every week. And if you win a tournament in golf, even though it's not a major, it changes your life because 1, you get extensions to play longer, your card longer.
Mm-hmm.
And 2, the purses are so high now. Wyndham Clark won the Wells Fargo Championship a few weeks ago, which is one of the designated events. He had won like $400,000 in his previous years. This year, in that one tournament, he wins $3.6 million. You qualify for the Masters. So the major is a big deal. But if you could just win a tournament, it changes your life because of the money that you win and your longevity of your PGA Tour card that you get to buy time with if you win it. Sean McKeel, he wins in 2003. He's only won $9 million, but still, you think only $9 million, it's still a big deal. You were talking about championships mattering. I do think we look at people differently if they're labeled a superstar and don't get it done. Prime example, Charles Barkley, Karl Malone, and John Stockton.
Right. So that follows them around. It's like, they never won a championship. That's that dean.
Yep.
So I think it matters. The kind of like,
I think
in one side of my mouth it matters because it does change your life, as you say. Like it removes that ding, but on the other side, it really doesn't because those guys are still in the Hall of Fame and we're still on the top 100 players list or whatever. So it hasn't like totally soiled their legacy, but it.
What's your thought?
No, I completely agree with Josh. Yeah, but I think all championships matter. But for me, I think you had asked a previous question, which sport do you feel like it matters most or to win or something like that? Obviously football is king. So I would say the Super Bowl is, you may disagree because you're a huge golf guy, but to me, winning the Super Bowl, because football is my favorite sport to watch, is king and will always be king.
Well, and I think the other thing that involves in it, which is interesting when you start talking about championships, one of the big debates as we are in the Western Conference Finals and the finals of the NBA, you've got LeBron playing, is I think even how you win your championship, which is crazy, I think matters because they'll tell you LeBron has 4 championships, 2 behind Michael. But the other thing about Michael is he never saw Game 7, never lost in the finals. Once he made it, he's kind of like Joe Montana. If he made it to a Super Bowl or if he made it to the finals, they were winning it. But that's what's fun about sports. And when we talk about who got your number that you can debate is you start looking at those positions and those people. If you're a superstar, not only do you win it, how you win it, because like right now, Kevin Durant, his championships were with the Warriors. He's gone to the Nets, nothing. Went to the Suns, nothing. And so I think those do matter, but I think we start looking at quarterbacks is the other one that we talk about because I do think one of your favorites is, even though he's young, is starting to figure out, am I just another Jim Kelly? The difference in Jim Kelly and Josh Allen, Jim Kelly with the 4 straight Super Bowls. Josh Allen has got to figure out, am I good enough to take my team and myself to a Super Bowl level?
No, I completely agree. When you said my favorite, I was like, he's going Josh Allen. Gosh, I want him to go to the next level so bad.
And I think Joe Burrow, though the quarterback position, nobody goes, man, all-pro center really needs to win a Super Bowl. But they do that with the quarterback. They do that in the NBA.
Yep.
And I think even in baseball is an interesting one too, because the best players in the sport aren't anywhere near winning a championship in Trout and Shohei.
Oh,
Not
right.
Trout.
I just thought you had a stutter.
I thought he was putting the two together, like they were a couple,
But maybe so.
like Jennifer.
But no, you're right, and that's the thing they always talk about. It's a shame that Mike Trout can't even make it to the playoffs. And I guess the difference is that baseball is more reliant on an entire team. Than the basketball, you just need a few guys, and then some role players around it. And in football, obviously, you need an entire team, but it's very rare that a mid-tier quarterback wins a Super Bowl.
Well, and if they're part of somebody like Trent Dilfer, who
right, the Baltimore Ravens
had a great defense.
I guess the one that you think of that right off the top of your head.
Oh yeah, and Brad Johnson, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I mean, so that happens, and that's what's funny is those guys. He is a Super Bowl winning quarterback, and then, like you mentioned, you've got guys out there that aren't. And I think we are in such a big window of great quarterbacks right now and in that you've got a handful of them that have not won a Super Bowl. Yes, Joe Burrow's been one, but I said all along, I think he's going to be the next Dan Marino, make it to one and never make it again.
Yeah, I would completely agree with that. I'm not on the Burrow train. I don't know. A lot of people are, but I am not.
And he may prove me wrong. And I've said all along, I don't think Aaron Rodgers or LeBron James will win another title. Aaron Rodgers may surprise me this year and take the Jets to a Super Bowl. And LeBron better do something different if he's going to prove me wrong, as they are down 2-0 in the series.
And I'm loving that.
Oh, me too. All right, so championships do matter. And the other thing that matters is when you know that knowing is half the battle. Josh is going to make all of us a little bit smarter right after this.
I'm finally drying out. I literally spit that. You made me laugh so hard.
We need to find a way to save that and make it a
gosh, that was so funny. I've never spit all over. Ironically, I've never spit all over myself, as we were talking about spitting, and my whole skirt was
I
wet.
could just have like all sounders.
Oh my
I love
gosh.
playing. Like, that's why I always say videos and reply to everything.
Well, at first
and
I
that's
thought
why-
you said it, and I saw the phone out of the corner of my eye, and I was like, oh my gosh, it was great.
That's why the headphones are important because I play it.
Why don't you just play it through the monitor?
Gosh, that was.
I'm asking 17
Our folks at DRI, or better known as the DRI Shredders, are here to assist and serve you in the destruction of your most private documents or just the annoying stacks of boxes you've had piled up over the years. Give us a call at 325-232-6860.
Oh, yeah, because I thought you did it, and then I was like, and then I saw you on the phone, like, turn it up. Yeah, I don't know why that takes me. I feel like I'm about to be attacked in your segment. I'm scared. Well, because you said it was gonna.
It sounds like we're having a wet t-shirt instead of she's spitting on herself.
Oh, you said that?
No, I didn't say that.
Oh, I was like, oh, I missed that.
Josh caught it.
It didn't get on my shirt, luckily. It only got on my skirt.
Again, Facebook Live, you're welcome.
What are y'all thinking of the crimped hair today? Keep it? Leave
When I
it?
walked in there, you were facing that way. I didn't know who you were.
Really?
Only because I knew you were supposed to be here.
Oh, yeah, true. You're like, who's that fluke?
What I think
Boss
is
calling some entertainment? Oh, it's this.
Miss Cinnamon! Let's welcome Miss Cinnamon.
what I think is hilarious is that you're still talking about how big your tongue is. Like, I'm gonna start calling you. What's the?
I will show y'all off air.
Yes.
Yes, I have the same tongue.
I'll show you off there.
Off air. I said off air. I will show y'all, and you're gonna be like, "Oh my god, it's scary."
2020 Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado. Celebrate responsibly.
Hi, I'm Sharon Riley. Here in Abilene, folks have lots of options.
It is scary.
Water
What'd you say? What'd he say?
He said, this show is so much scary.
Oh, we've only said big tongue, spit. I like it.
I don't know why y'all are so sick. Y'all are perverted.
Oh yeah, when she says whatever she was about,
I did not
put it in the
say
mouth
anything about
and
the
then-
hot dogs.
I didn't say anything.
I didn't. I said soggy buns. That was it.
Soggy buns just sounds.
It does. It does, but I don't think it's sexual.
what is that on?
Ew.
Oh, it's on.
I mean, either.
It's on. Ricky Bobby's like, I told her she had a lumpy butt.
Yeah, soggy buns right there. Oh my gosh.
You like a spider monkey.
We feel like we might have had a car upside down today with we're learning how to spit, all the things. It's really good stuff. So we're glad that you're with us.
Happy hour didn't start at 7 a.m.
No, we promise. And she is not eating her burrito.
I haven't, and y'all are welcome for that because, yeah,
Oh,
it may have really derailed.
Good stuff. But we are glad you're with us. Don't forget, head over to ToastyLive.com. Tons of shows coming up. They've got Summer Jam. Go get your tickets at ToastyLive.com. They got Shuckle Shack. They got a lot of stuff coming up. I'm excited about that.
Shuckle Shack is hard to say.
It is tough, yeah.
And I'm not
I'm
afraid I'm going to
impressed.
somehow say a bad word when I say it. I'm not sure which one, but it just sounds like I got to be careful. when I
Oh,
say
that's
it.
true. Well, and that's why when you're careful, as you continue to learn these things and knowing that being educated is important.
You tell me I need to wear the earphones I hear, but the earphones make me feel like I'm like chained to the desk, and I don't like that. Maybe I need to get some wireless ones. Or
Okay, we'll work on
I'm
that.
gonna,
Yes,
I'm gonna work
I
that into
can
my contract.
support that.
We'll work on that
I don't-
in our
I'm
budget.
I'm not sure when that's coming up for renewal.
I'm scared
Yeah.
right now.
Oh, there's no need to be scared. I actually take a moment to actually have a real public service announcement. Not that the others aren't very important, but an actual PSA for those out there. It was just announced that the Cancer Services Network, which does a lot of good work directly helping people that are in what is the most terrible time of their lives, and helping them get to their treatments and things like that. Well, they're having their annual fur, fowl, and fin. If I said that in the right order, if not, correct me later. Dinner that's coming up in June 15th, and it was just announced that Willie Robertson will be the keynote speaker, and there are opportunities for you to join that evening, and even there's opportunities to get to be part of a meet and greet with Willie Robertson as part of the event. For all of you Duck Commander, Duck. What's the other show?
Duck Dynasty.
Duck Dynasty. It just left me fans. Very, very clever, very good people. So if you'd like more information on how to do that, just send me a text, 325-665-6084. Just say you want some info, and I'll fill you in. And whoever that guy was that texted me bad words when I was talking bad about the Astros, don't text me. I blocked your number. It was very, very bad
It
words.
was offensive, yes.
Yeah.
That's very rude.
So they
Yeah.
can have an opportunity. There are tables.
Yes,
tickets?
there are tables, tickets, events. There are sponsor packages that include a meet and greet with Willie Robinson prior to him delivering his address. And beyond all of that, it truly is one of those things that you can help make a difference directly here in Abilene in people's lives. So it's just something to keep in mind. So again, that's 325-665-6084.
And it's June 15th.
June 15th. Yes, it's at the Taylor County Fairgrounds, one of those buildings up there. I can't remember which one, but I can get the flyer to you.
There you go.
So anyway, now back to like the moment at hand, helping people make their lives better. There's something that I think, and this is you have to pre-plan to go and do things, and like putting June 15th on your calendar and just saying, "Yep, we're doing that," is one of those things that you should do. But really, just in your life as you go, and people are try to invite you to do things or be at certain events, and sometimes you just got to say like, "Yes, I'm going to be there," or "No, I'm not." And that I always think about. That was actually a one of the pieces of advice that Jesus gave us: let your no be no and your yes be yes. You don't have to try to mince your words and come out different. But I there is a trend that I see, and I am constantly reminded of people that I feel like are doing the like, I'm going to hold out and see if there's something better, but I'm not going to tell you I won't be there. But if something better comes up, I won't be there. But they don't say that. You get like non-committal, like, well, that sounds nice. Like, oh yeah, that I bet that'll be fun. Like, but not like a yes, I'll be there, or no, I won't be there. And I'm not saying anyone in this room has done that to me personally. I'm not saying they haven't. But I like I said before, I'm not trying to call y'all out. It's just sometimes you need to be better, and it's just one of those things that you have to do better. Have any of you, and all y'all listening, think about the same thing? Have y'all ever been invited to an event that you were like, I don't know that I want to go?
I think we all have one, especially for what we do. All three of us are very involved in different things. And we've got pockets of friends, and some of those merge together. Some of them are different. So what I'm hearing you say.
So you have replacement friends and real friends? Is that what you're saying?
No.
Where's the breakdown? Do you have a
what I'm saying is
if this guy calls, I like him better than this guy.
No, but
this is why y'all didn't attend my Christmas party.
But
obviously,
but there are events that, and what's terrible is when the events are on the exact same day, and you do have to make that decision.
When you go to your list and decide.
Well,
Misty invited me to this, and somebody else invited me to this at the same time. Which one do I like more?
Well, which one's going to count out my sunflower seeds? But it's tough, and for those, and I know Josh does this a lot with hosting folks out because he likes to cook, likes to entertain, does a really good job with it. And it's hard on you and the preparer to know how much food to do, what do we need? Do I need to make sure we got this set up? Am I doing a cowboy party? Do I got both TVs working? And there's a lot of planning that goes into when you have these events, or I don't know if they're events, but get-togethers.
Yeah, but I think it's the same for like actual events, that organizations put on and stuff, where it's hard for them to plan and be ready because I feel like there's a general like lack of RSVPing, and it's just like, well, I'll see how my day's going on that Thursday, and then I might make it, like.
Or who else is gonna?
Yeah,
be
who
there?
else is gonna go?
It's like I have some friends where I'm like, hey, we're gonna cook out tonight. It's super last minute. Y'all want to come, whatever. And they're like, well, who's all gonna be there? And it's like, why does it matter? Like,
doesn't that question bother you?
It does.
Yeah. It's
I'm
like, you don't want to hang out with me, but if this other person's there, you'd come.
Like if Becky comes, you're not coming. Like I don't like that. Right? But I do. I have friends that do that. And sometimes I want to respond and be like, what does it matter? Like, all of my friends. We've all been friends for many, many years. What does it matter? It's our home. It's our event. It's whatever. It's just like when I've gone to Josh's house. Y'all are all really good friends with everybody else that's there. We're kind of the outsiders. But we go. Everyone's friendly. We just kind of throw ourselves in. But if I texted and said, oh, well, who's going to be there? Oh, I don't really like him or her, so I'm not going to come. Like, yeah, I hate that. Just show up. So that's kind of a spinoff.
Yeah, well, no, it's all part of the same thing.
Going,
it's just like, just make a commitment.
Like,
the other thing that happens,
I'm like, oh, I'm not coming.
The other
That's
struggle that you
I
see
like
that can affect, maybe not necessarily, well, I guess friendships, is of the events that happen. And then you look at the pictures of the event and like, I didn't get that invite. I wonder why maybe they weren't on my list of people.
Yeah.
But that's because there are so many things. You've got the Dancing with the Stars event. You got the Belt with the Boys, which is coming up soon. You've got all these events that happen. And then you're like, well, I wonder why we didn't get the invite, or why I didn't get the invite, but you do. You start. You're a big planner. Like Leanne's a big planner, and so trying to make sure hey, we got to get a babysitter. You got to do all these things,
right.
And so, but yeah, I think you're better off saying, hey, man, I just can't make it.
Right. That's
or
okay.
Just
say you can't make it, and if things change and you decide you can then like follow back up and say, hey, this came up, I now can do that, whatever, we're not going out of town that weekend, whatever the case may be. But I just feel like there's like a very, very high level of people in this community, at least that I deal with, in different events and different, facets of life, that will just not commit until they kind of get a little closer and see what's going on. Whether it's who's going to be there or, well, I had a long day at work today, so I don't think I'm going to go.
And how about the ones that say, like Dancing with Stars is a perfect example. You buy the table, you're trying to fill your seats. Those tickets are like gold. I mean.
Oh yeah, you could get someone else there.
Right, but if you don't know until an hour before,
you can't get anybody there.
Right, then it's like, okay, you committed to this 3 months ago.
Then you call me and I'm like, well, I can't get a babysitter in that amount of time.
Right, and so and I've had to do that for cattle barons before, where we're trying to fill seats literally the day of the event because somebody's backed out that was going to sit at our bank table. And so I feel like that happens a lot too. And then you're in scramble mode. Well, then whoever you call is like, oh, cool, I was an afterthought.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
So then that's not a good conversation.
Right.
So it really puts the person that's the table host
but then,
in a bad way.
I couldn't, but now I can.
Yeah. I was going to pitch you, but we had to go to Frisco and get a
You
picture.
were number 11 and 12, and 9 and 10 just backed out.
Yeah,
But
you know that
I'm adjusting my spreadsheet now. You might move up on the list.
you know how if Miss America cannot perform her duties, the runner-up now becomes
But
Miss
also
America.
know where you are. Like, I would not be upset if y'all had a table and it was filled with all of the friends that are at the gatherings, because we're the outsider. Like, and I get that. So it's like, also know your place.
No,
I don't
in
know
your
about
friend
you.
group.
you're
Okay.
upgraded. You're not
Well, I'm
outsiders.
just saying, like,
We're the outsiders because we've never
there's a
been
lot of those boys.
Yeah.
They're going to fill those
Clay
seats.
brings good food when he comes over.
He really
Well,
does.
number
Clay's
one,
excellent.
we're the outsiders because we've not been to your house.
I
So-
invited y'all, so don't even.
Oh, maybe that is on that.
Yeah, but
Well-
I actually did have a work function that day.
I know.
Like I couldn't.
I had a other option. No, I didn't.
Uh-huh.
I'm just joking. Again,
He's not
knowing is half the battle.
He
Don't
called me
forget.
like, are you going? I said no. He's like, all right, I'm out.
So rude. Well, y'all missed out. It was great.
I was worried about the time.
Kirkhouse was there. It was a whole thing. It was great.
I was worried about the time. Anyway, so when we come back, knowing is half the
Very
battle.
scary.
Don't forget, Josh, give your number again for the cancer event.
325-665-6084.
If you want to hang out with Willie Robertson, hear some great stories, I'm sure be sure you get a hold of Josh and he'll get you the information for that. When we come back, more Hodge Pack right after this.
You see that ring fall down there?
Safe. The people.
Playing with it.
So do people bring animals to this?
We rely on our touchstone energy.
Is this like the fur ball?
Yeah, because it's
No.
called like fur, fowl.
It's like a wild game dinner.
Oh,
They're gonna
okay.
have like venison sausage and
Okay. I was like,
some fish. I don't know.
cool.
So what was your connection back to this one?
They asked me if I would pitch it.
Yeah.
I know, but who reached out to you?
From his first financial.
Hello, Abilene and Love Country. Keith Glover here with Wheeling Resources Incorporated. I'm here to let you know about our doctor.
I have helped with their fashions for Cure before, and they do a lot of great work in the area. Service a lot of counties.
And I went to a meeting like that's what you come. And I did, sitting there, and they're talking about ways we can push this, and some lady that I don't know her name, we're gonna was like, Ryan Holmes has that radio show. Maybe we should see if he'll talk about it on there.
You're like,
And then someone else was like,
I happen to know
he's
him.
on that radio show. And I'm like, I am on that radio show.
I happen to know him. I'll ask.
So, just like,
That was a great PSA. And honestly, I have to admit,
you do
I've
that.
done that.
Yeah,
I
you
have
do it.
I have done
You-
that.
Like, I did not specifically do that because
I have
you
done
do
that.
it,
I'll
but
admit it.
when I thought about it, I thought Misty does that.
Yeah, I have done that. Definitely done that. Unless I do know that I have something and then I'm like,
Oh,
I
yeah.
can't go.
Oh,
Like
I
I
don't think anybody's ever like, oh, we'll see. It's
Yeah.
Like, if they know that on Sunday night they've got to do X, but
yeah.
it's like,
Well, and then sometimes I'm like, is he even coming? Is he not coming? Are we gonna? What are we gonna do?
Oh, yeah.
Like, yeah. So there are times where I don't ever mean it like vindictively. It's just like, oh no, it's not happening. So, but I do think there are levels of friends.
oh yeah.
It's like, you have your core, and then you have like an outside core, and you know, you love all your friends, but there are some that you're just closer to that you spend more time with. And so,
And some of those other things are like, like golf tournaments, seats and dinners and things
Yes.
like that. It's like, it's not necessarily who you most want to be there with, and sometimes like you have to invite certain people.
or it's like it's a fundraiser. Who's gonna
who's
like
gonna donate money?
right? Yeah, that's one of the things too. So there's
Wow.
lots of different things.
If Jerry Rice if you didn't count a single catch in his 20s, would still have 1,000 catches, 13,000 yards, and 100 touchdowns.
He's
context.
literally untouchable.
Randy Moss had 982 total.
Yeah. His stats are absolutely insane.
Yeah, they are.
Like, are we ever going to see another Jerry Rice? Probably not.
Larry Fitzgerald got fairly close. I mean, as close as anyone.
But I'm like, I want to see someone now be like the Emmets, the Jerry Rice, like that generation of football. I just don't think they're
running
going to.
backs are the ones that I don't understand what happened. They're still good receivers
Right.
nowadays.
But no, you're right. Like those stats are just, they're untouchable, I think, with the way that football is played now.
Yeah. Well, I think they are. And to the receivers side of it, it's not just that. And this isn't saying anything. I'll wait.
Right.
Talk about it.
Yeah, because that's a
I don't want to
good,
ruin all my point.
yes.
If you have pest issues, let our family help yours. For service or questions, call or text at 325-673-6700.
Oh my gosh.
I love to be in a situation like that when everything is on the line. Something like that is
Welcome back to the Hodge Pack Sports Life and everything in between. It's time for our Who You Got? Who Owns the Number? Got Your Number from the book. Mike Greenberg and Hembo. We've been doing this the last few weeks. And you hear plays of Jerry Rice, maybe the greatest, one of the greatest of all time in any sport there is. And Josh got the number, and it was number 80, which is what Jerry Rice wore, and just one of the greatest of all time. And we mentioned, when you get into the bigger numbers, when you start looking at jerseys, once you pretty much get past really even George Murison, I think had 77 in basketball.
Once you get past the 50s, though,
It's going to be football or it's going to be a stat. And I mentioned 79. We may look at that later on. Sometimes 79 is a really good one. But 80, and I haven't gotten to 80. I'm on 76 right now, which is, I won't tell you that in case we ever do it. But number 80 was, in my opinion, no different than 23.
Correct.
When you start, even if there was an 80-game hit streak, which there's no such thing as 56, but 80 was such an easy one because Jerry Rice literally was the greatest, maybe player of all time. Tom Brady, greatest quarterback, you can debate all that. But when it comes to the best football player of all time, maybe Lawrence Taylor, maybe a small debate, I think there's no doubt it's Jerry Rice.
It would be hard to argue against it. I find it very difficult to argue in sports like when you're playing football, who's the best football player on the field. Positions are different. It's hard to say, but he's definitely the best wide receiver, and he's in the conversation for the best football players ever. And when you look at his stats, they're just truly unbelievable. And like you said, I got out the random number generator, 1 to 100, and it popped up 80. And as soon as it did, I was like, well, that's Jerry Rice. I mean, like, it wasn't even like a moment's hesitation. So.
And literally, as we mentioned, 23, you knew it was going to be Jordan. It's the same thing with 80 on what Jerry Rice was able to do. And the biggest thing, and we talked about this with Nolan Ryan last week, the longevity of the older player is just unbelievable. And we saw it in Tom Brady, maybe the quarterback, maybe that longevity person, but really that's it. There's nobody else that's going to play in the league long enough, even though it's a very pass heavy league. If there was going to be something that might be caught ironically from a receiver's perspective, we know that Emmitt Smith's record is never going to be broken. But as a pass happy league that it is now, Jerry, even as pass happy it is, I still don't think Jerry Rice's records will ever be touched.
I don't think so either. And the reason that I don't think so is because of the way the game has changed. We kind of talked about that a little in the break, and Misty mentioned that, in like the running back position, I don't understand why it disappeared, as far as like no running back is good for a stretch of time when it not that long ago, there were running backs that had long careers.
And you would think in the modern day of nutrition, working out, and the medicines and the
Right.
and not enhancements, illegal ones, but just all the things that people
they protect you from getting hit head to head and things like
Right.
that. So
you would think they could still do that, because
Right.
why was Emmitt Smith playing late in his career? Why was Frank Gore played late in his career, age-wise, and still was very competitive, and deep down, if he probably still could, he would have been the only one that might ever have caught.
He's up there on those all-time lists. But the way the passing game has changed, because I thought about this when I was thinking about those records not being caught, and I specifically thought about Larry Fitzgerald, who's number 2 on a lot of those lists. And I was like, well, if the career that Fitzgerald had didn't get him any closer to Jerry Rice, then no one else is going to. And I think it's because the changes in the game have also included tight ends that are more than just like your random blockers with an outlet valve, and running backs are the same. They're not just a little back over into the flat to throw a check down to. They become part of the offense. And the slot receiver is an every down player, whereas used to that was, the third and fourth wide receiver didn't come on the field unless you were doing a third and long, had to make it obvious passing down type of situation. So, when you think about those teams in the past, they were lining up in an I or a pro set with a tight end that was generally there to block and 2 wide receivers to run routes. So why like, I guess that also I think, well, how could they not cover when only like 2 guys were really running routes? I guess they still had to respect the other people, but
I think that's the other thing is Jerry Rice went against good defensive backs, but still found a way to be real, obviously the best of all time.
I just miss that. I miss that era of, like Emmitt and Jerry Rice. We were kind of talking about it in the break. I'm like, I don't know that we're just not going to ever see that again. That level, which we should, which like you said, but I don't know. I'm just like, I want to see the Jerry Rice, the new age Jerry Rice, the new age Emmitt, and they're just made different now. I don't know. It's just so different.
And there's good wide receivers now, but I feel like there's a lot of them that are kind of in the same sphere, whereas Jerry Rice was just on another level. Randy Moss at the top of his career was just on another level. And one of my, and this is real throwback, one of the things that I always think about when I think of Jerry Rice is on Tecmo Bowl, you could drop Joe Montana back. If you snap the ball on a certain play, I can't remember exactly what it was, drop straight back, hit the B button 7 times, and then the A button, touchdown every time. All right. Unless the defense called the correct play, which they'd sack Joe Montana. So that's 2 outcomes. So if you played somebody that was smart enough to catch on to it, they'd start calling it a lot. You wouldn't get away with it much, but you snuck that in, touchdown every time.
Well, you start looking at the stats. 1,549 career catches. You mentioned Larry Fitzgerald's next at 1,432. 22,800 receiving yards. Larry Fitzgerald, number 2. 23,000 career yards from scrimmage. Emmitt Smith is number 2. But you just start looking at all these. And the stat that blew my mind, longevity was extraordinary. We talked about that. If you did not count a single catch Jerry Rice made in his 20s, he would still have 1,000 catches, 13,546 yards, and 102 touchdowns. For context, Randy Moss had 982 total catches. And so you just look at
Insane.
is how good Jerry was in was at Mississippi State, or Mississippi Valley State, wasn't from a Power 5 conference or anything like that, and just impacted the game.
I liked this one. It says if a rookie recorded 1,000 receiving yards, he would have to do it 22 more times to eclipse Rice's all-time record of 22,895 receiving yards.
Well, and I think that is, you go back watching it. I enjoyed watching. I mean, as a Cowboy fan, the 49ers were kind of the nemesis of us.
Yeah, I didn't like the guy.
And now are back. But you appreciated Jerry Rice, and he had a stint with the Raiders, but
the Cowboys weren't good on Tecmo Bowl. That really
they were terrible. If the Tecmo Bowl needed to come out in 1992,
Yeah.
93, 94, 95, and they would have been pretty good. But again, got your number. Go check it out. Get it. Mike Greenberg Himbo, a lot of great stuff in there. 79 is one of my favorites because they do think outside the box. But Jerry Rice, by far, one of the greatest of all time, if not the best player ever. When we come back, we'll wrap up the show and get ready for the weekend.
Everyone in my family uses electricity differently. But when it comes to our Touchstone Energy Cooperative, we all think about it the same way. The co-op is power. Sure, electricity turns the lights on, but how is the information I get from my co-op about efficiency, safety, technology, and I trust the co-op because we are the co-op.
They're our neighbors.
Our friends. Our home.
You are the most important part of Big Country Electric Company. Call, stop by our offices in Roden, Snyder, and Stanford, or visit online at bigcountry.com.
Hello, Abilene and the Big Country. Keith Glover here with Disability Resources Incorporated. I'm here to let you know about our document.
I need to get a computer program to store sounders in. We can plug it in. And I will, like,
drop-offs.
I don't disagree. We need more sounders.
Our folks at DRI are better known as the
Then we need to
DRI
listen to the
shredders,
whole
are here to assist and serve in the destruction of
Oh,
those private
of
documents
us.
or just
It
those
makes
noise
sounders
types
of us
of
saying
boxes
stupid
we've had
stuff.
piled up over the years. Give us a call at
Man, I had a promo last week about the
3602 North Clark Street. You'll be glad you did. And I know the DRI
Sushi.
shredders will too.
It was really funny. I even clipped it together.
What happened?
It didn't save or something. All right, we're gonna have one more segment. What do y'all want to end it with?
Slapping Hodge.
Option number 2.
What can we talk about?
Back to do this, you have needs one more thing.
What are we doing this week?
Chill.
Yeah, what are we doing this weekend?
Just crack open an ice cold Coors Light.
Vacation's coming up. School's out next
Take the
week.
afternoon off and binge watch anything. Happy hour and stay for a
Or hang out.
with
Yes.
I want a vacation for that 2 months.
Interactions.
I know. I'm so ready to go on vacation.
Coors Light. Non-cold refreshment made to chill. 2020 Coors Brewing
Cannot
Company,
wait.
Colorado. Celebrate responsibly.
Have you enjoyed the Potosi Live experience yet? If not, you're missing one of the best atmospheres around. With amazing food, great drinks, live music, TVs to watch your favorite sporting events. The Potosi Live team will make sure you have an experience that you're going to tell your friends about. Check out PotosiLive.com or go like them at Potosi Live on Facebook for their upcoming live music and ticket events. Head out to Potosi at 897 FM 17.
That event sounds fun though.
Potosi Live.
It will be fun.
With Willie, that would be fun to
It
go
has
to.
like free drinks. Or drinks.
Yeah,
Beer
that
and wine.
would be fun.
I want you to know we really appreciate your business and are always striving for one of the best service and prices. So we listen to you and have updated our menu, bringing back home favorites like nachos and fajitas and adding more small plates for the live appetizers. So come see us. I want to hear you say,
Yum, yum.
And First Bacon Trust.
Oh.
Our story started in 1996 and it continues because of you.
Yeah,
Our
I mean, I think
customers,
speaking to our
communities,
patient,
and our neighbors. We are
we can
proud
just
to be a
read it.
small part of your success. But where does your story start? Where do you want to go? Whether starting a business, saving for the future, or launching your ideas to the next level, we want to help you take your first steps towards something big. Call or email one of our bankers today. At First Bank and Trust, we see potential, ideas, innovation, growth everywhere.
Welcome back to the Hodge Pack, sports, life, and everything in between. We're glad that you joined us this morning. Catch us every Friday morning, 7 to 9. Also, don't forget to download, subscribe, rate, review on the podcast. Last week's was a lot of fun. It is up and rolling. Pauses are important. Check that out, of course, YouTube. We've got some, I'm going to post them today. We've got some new hats in. I'm wearing one today. Have an opportunity if you want to purchase one of those. We'll make that available to you. They're really cool hats, comfortable, low crown, Texadized, hooking us up with those. And so we appreciate our hats and get you a chance to buy one if you like. A couple things again, Lawrence Hall headline report reminders. Dallas Stars kick off Western Conference Finals tonight. Man, that it's one of those things that I would really, and I just need to sit down and do. I watched Game 7 the other night for a little bit, but just almost commit myself a little bit to watch more hockey.
I have a hard time watching hockey on TV. Like, I want to be there live. I love to watch it live. But on TV, it's same. It's like Josh said, we've got to commit early
and start watching
more hockey.
A couple other things again, the Western Conference Finals last night, the Lakers lose, they're down 2-0, and the Heat and Celtics will play game 2 tonight. Again, one of the things I took away was the XFL last week, the championship that Arlington won, and the kind of the excitement that was there. One of my buddies was actually at the game and said it was a really good atmosphere. It was, of course, The Rock was there, and so it's a big deal. And of course, the PGA Championship happening right now. Round 2 is underway. Again, Bryson DeChambeau leading at 4 under, and there's a slew of folks at 3 under, along with Adam Scott, DJ Dustin Johnson, Scotty Scheffler at 3 under as well. And so, and then the Rangers this week got the Colorado Rockies. Josh, again, we talked about in our Ranger recap. They've got to find a way to at least go 2-1 in that series, and then they go on the road next week and just start getting that momentum and being a little.
Because the Astros are getting healthier, and the Astros have a weaker schedule coming up. So if we want to maintain some breathing room, it's time to put up.
Well, and the other thing that you start thinking about that is, again, now sports are starting to change. We're starting to see the NFL is going to be getting closer and closer for the mini camps and the OTAs and all that starting. But summer's basically I was thinking, looking up Summer's Coming by Clint Black, which will be at Summer Jam, it's starting to get real. I mean, you've got the graduate next week. Your kids are getting older and all those things, but summer's things are changing, and it's pretty cool. And so, what do y'all got going on this weekend?
We have a softball tournament this weekend in Brownwood. So we'll drive up in the morning and go play 5-game guarantee. So that'll be fun for the girls. Well, we played, oh my gosh, I don't even know how many games we've played in one day before. Softball is much different than baseball in that regard. They work those little girls so hard. But yeah, we're going to do that, and we'll be with our team, and we're all a very close-knit team. So it's always a lot of fun to go hang out with all of them because we're all really close friends. So it'll be a fun weekend. Yeah. So I'm looking forward to that. And Collie Mae's she's really just kind of come alive this season and been doing really well. So she's been really fun to watch. And they're just such a great group of girls. So looking forward to that.
All right. Well, that's good. We got our reschedule from last week's rain out, last baseball game of the season. Although there is a chance of rain tonight and so forth. So we'll see if how that plays out. But yeah, so we got that, and just kind of a take it easy, get ready weekend, because like I'm going on vacation next week after school's out, so I'll be I won't be on the show next week. So all y'all listeners, just be prepared to be sad.
Sad day.
So I'll be gone next week on vacation, and then it's one of those things that we were just thinking about how time just kind of flies, and you feel like, oh, it's the beginning of the year. Now you're like, oh wait, it's almost the middle of the year, and now you're having to plan those times off during the vacation season. So you're checking with coworkers to make sure when people are going to be gone, so you have coverage and all of that. It just seems like, wait, I thought
There
Just-
is a lot
just
that
winter.
goes into vacation. Like where are y'all going? Did y'all is it
Oh, we're just taking a little trip to the Metroplex. We're going to some the Big 12 baseball tournament is at Globe Life, so we're going to go catch some baseball games and do like the zoo and the aquarium and just family kid stuff.
vacations are fun, conferences are fun, but there is so much that goes into leading it, and then when you come back,
Yes.
is the other thing. And talking, looking at again, follow Big Country Preps on Twitter and of course us as well, sport wise. But you start thinking about there's kids graduating, and of course Wiley plays today. They're playing Lubbock, Monterey, Abilene High still in the baseball playoffs. Holly, Stanford are in the baseball playoffs. Stanford girls. But you've got kids that are about to graduate and are still going to be playing on their team. You have college kids that had graduation probably last week or whatever that are still playing in the Big 12 tournament. I've always thought that was fascinating that you've got these kids that school is out for summer and they're still competing for state championships and College World Series and all those sorts of things. I just think that's a pretty interesting deal.
Yeah, especially when you're a senior, you're no longer
You're
a
like,
student.
see ya,
But you're
still representing your
Yeah.
school.
Well, and so it's just it cracks me up of all those things that are coming up. And again, we've got a ballet tomorrow night to go watch. We've got some friends of ours that are
Is that here in town? Or?
their kiddos are in ballet, and so we're going to go do that tomorrow night. Plan on hopefully hitting a golf ball today and tomorrow.
Golf ball hitting you.
True. Bryson DeChambeau hit a dude yesterday. And,
We got to go to Mulligan's. We've talked about that.
we're gonna get that.
We're gonna do that.
Here's the biggest
When
thing.
we
Hey,
get back from vacation, Joshua,
Okay.
we will do it.
here's the PSA that I wanted to talk about. That we gotta.
We're out of time. See you later.
Want to get to is executing the things that we say we're going to do.
Oh yeah, we're
Because
full of hot air.
we are really
Right.
good of ideas, but execution is
Kentucky
important.
Derby is a prime example.
Yeah,
It doesn't even have to go that big. I mean,
Right.
like, we
Just
don't
start.
even go to lunch.
right.
I mean, y'all do.
Oh, I don't invite you.
Y'all don't invite me.
Oh, you're on the text.
I'm
You're
not
just-
in the core group.
You're
it's
very
fine.
blind copy.
Rude.
We
I
are
actually Hodge invited you like 3 times this week, and I couldn't go either. But
And,
you turned it
yeah,
down
I
all
was
3
gonna say,
times.
I had
Yeah.
a busy week.
yeah.
Next
I ate
week
lunch.
should be much better.
I ate lunch by myself on Tuesday, but thanks,
Sorry.
guys. Anyway, hey, we appreciate you tuning in again. Congratulations to the Roby Lady Lions state track meet champions. Again, a lot of young athletes there. Only one senior, so they'll have an opportunity to do it once again. We got a lot of stuff coming up. We got 2,000 sunflower seeds to be counted and to be spit.
If y'all don't do that, I'm gonna have harsh words.
I am going to do
We're going to be
this.
working on that.
But you're not even going to be here. How sad.
I'm not going to spit 2,000 sunflower seeds
I know,
on
but
air.
he wants to see it.
I-
We could easily do this. We're
You
going to
can take
video.
a photo.
We can video it. Do it at Mulligan's.
Okay.
There's a big driving range for me to spit, and you can work on your golf
That's a
game.
better idea than being on the show. We will be at Mulligan's, and he just has to
Okay.
sit there and eat sunflower
Why
seeds
don't
the
we
entire
not do
time.
it next week, but the next week?
When
since
you're
Josh,
gone.
Oh, I am gone. Never
Yeah.
mind.
You don't even remember your own schedule.
I
Yes.
don't. Gosh.
That's why. Hey, that's what happens with a big tongue.
Ay.
Oh, and the big tongue will be in the title of the podcast, where you
Oh.
can download, subscribe,
But you
rate,
want
and
people
review.
to actually listen to it. That just sounds weird. I don't know that I wouldn't click on that.
Well, the
Just saying.
problem is,
Oh, you
You gotta,
would.
you gotta
No,
run,
the problem
run
is-
that by your marketing. Like,
You would.
no, the problem is, on air you cannot see it.
well,
But
is that a
y'all are
problem?
about to be scared.
True.
I'm just not hanging around for that. I'm leaving.
Hey, we are going to leave. I hope you have a great weekend. We will see y'all next week. Trace Michaels is going to be joining Misty and I next week, a former familiar voice. And who knows, maybe I will actually get a baseball card next week. Have a great weekend. We'll have more Hodge Pack, sports life, and everything in between next week.
Did you not get the card we left you?
Did not.
Where's the card?
Josh,
Right.
Oh, he did.